These are the top 25 times when reinforcements arrived in DC movies. Kicking off today's list is Wonder Woman saving the bank hostages from Zack Snyder's Justice League. Being rescued's one thing, but for it to be done in style is a whole other ballgame. Wonder Woman is the kind of reinforcement who can get the job done solo, which is why it's always a delight to see her flex her might. These robbers should have just given up the moment they saw her because, come on guys, there's no way any mortal human is ever going to measure up to Princess Diana now, is there? Man, Zack Snyder is really good when it comes to directing fight scenes with her character. The man clearly seems to understand her powers better than most. If only the same could have been said about Patty Jenkins too, eh? Up next is a rare W for Green Lantern, and yes, I'm referring to the Ryan Reynolds version. After all, he did come up with a creative way to save his future wife. Hal saving Carol at the very last minute is exactly the kind of husband behaviour women dream of all the time, or so I've been told. Anyway, the scene is one of the few moments in the film that doesn't make you want to question your love for DC, and I quite like the choice of obstruction from Hal. The man was building a Hot Wheels track in the middle of saving his love interest. But yeah, being able to create anything with your mind is such a cool skill. Now, we've got Amber Heard doing something we never would have expected. She shows up as an unlikely saviour, that too for a guy like Aquaman. Well, Arthur Curry did look like he was having a hard time locating his dad, but lucky for him, Mera happened to be right there, and she comes in at the right time to make sure Aquaman didn't end up like Superman did in The Man of Steel. I've got to admit, those were some neat water-bending skills. Even Katara would be proud. We missed out on a great on-screen relationship because Mera was supposed to be Arthur's partner in crime in the sequel, but all of that changed thanks to one specific court case. I guess Jack Sparrow really is the true ruler of the sea.
He's not breathing.
Ooh, let me help. Please don't do this.
Next up is a scene from a movie that may not be from an original DC comic, but did get transferred to their Black Label division. So yeah, this reinforcement for a damsel in distress technically qualifies to be on this list. Plus, I'm pretty sure anybody would be ready to save Natalie Portman after seeing what happened to Anakin Skywalker after he lost her. Anyway, V saving Evie was the start of a very sweet, emotional relationship, but the way he did it was totally badass. Hugo Weaving is an absolute master of his craft in this film, and he portrays V to perfection without even once revealing his face. Side note, I love the sass in his sword skills. It was almost as if he was in his Zorro phase here. Now, we've got Batfleck in one of his few aura moments in the Snyderverse. Look, I know the Flash may be the fastest man in the world and all of that, but speed doesn't always get the job done. Barry was in desperate need of some help here, and Batman came in at the right moment to help him out. And I'm not gonna lie, this scene looks like it's from a totally different movie when compared to the rest of the Flash. It's an epic moment for sure, but it also hurts to know that this was the last time we got to see Batfleck in action. Yeah, there was a lot of potential to make Ben Affleck the best live-action version of Batman, but it's all gone down the drain. Okay, at number 20, we've got El Diablo unlocking his full potential to turn the tide of the battle. Yeah, we get to see the true meaning of rage mode here, as he unleashes his inner monster to take on another monster. Realistically, there was no other way you could have got rid of Incubus, because that dude was way too overpowered for a bunch of criminals to defeat. El Diablo was pretty much the only good character in this movie who I actually cared about, because they did his story a lot better than the others, which made his motives more sensible. Plus, it always helps that he can rein in the reinforcements solo by awakening some demonic fire god residing within him.
Ya te chingaste, güey.
Let's take a look at a swift rescue that became one of the quickest reinforcements ever. The Joker gets double impact here. He not only gets his makeup spoiled, but also loses Vicky Vale the moment Batman drops in and takes her away in a blink of an eye. There's no fight as such, but Bruce Wayne does manage to pull off an escape with his Batmobile, so that's what counts in the end. Also, I read somewhere that in the original script, after Joker comments on where Batman gets such wonderful toys, he was going to ask his goons not to just stand there, but to go and ask him. I mean, that would have been pretty cool if you ask me. Next up is Harley Quinn teaming up with some unlikely buddies in an epic final battle. Yeah, it's more like Beauty and the Beast, but with one beauty and a gazillion rats. Technically, the rats are the main reinforcements, given their sheer numbers, but let's not discount Margot Robbie joining the battle at the very last moment to steal all the glory. I swear it's crazy how this scene can be so deeply disturbing and so beautiful at the same freaking time. I guess that's exactly why a director like James Gunn can attract such polarizing discussions on his work, eh?
Easy, miss. I've got you.
It's time to let the Man of Steel shine. It's a classic case of damsels and choppers, wherein Superman ends up saving both with minimal effort. Normally, the folks would have given up on Lois Lane surviving, but when she has someone like Clark Kent simping for her, you can rest assured nothing's going to happen to her. Either that or Superman reverses time, but that's not the moment we're focusing on this time, is it? It's how he shows up as the last and final hope and saves Lois too, promoting a rather maniacal response. No hate at all to Margot Kidder. I would have probably reacted the same way if my reinforcement was freaking Superman. Yes, it's time to crank things up a notch with some fiery reinforcements. This scene proves that the Bat is deadlier than demons, or in this case, parademons, and it's a spectacular display of dominance. Like, it may be more of a distraction here, but the plan was always for Batman to come in at the right time as a reinforcement, so it counts for sure. Man, the way he lights up the Batmobile, completely taking those parademons by surprise, was a class apart, and it's one of the strongest instances where we can say that Batman actually feels like Batman. Alright, here's the Man of Steel saving Lois again, but along with a lot more people this time. You know, we should all strive to be more like Superman. The dude saved a freaking airplane and made sure to give everyone a PSA on flying safe. This is the kind of Giga Chad I aspire to be, but I'm pretty sure nobody's relying on me as a reinforcement when a space shuttle and a plane need to be saved, right? But anyway, yeah, this was probably the most Superman thing we've ever seen him do in a Superman movie. Yeah, Homelander really is like the dollar store version of evil Superman. It's Amber Heard's turn to be saved this time. It's basically Aquaman returning the favour for saving his dad, and yes, I'm very aware that technically Justice League happens before Aquaman. Regardless, I'm going by the video's chronology, and Arthur Curry does a pretty good job of saving his woman. Yeah, he doesn't beat Steppenwolf outright, and even takes some heavy blows, but he wasn't totally defeated when Steppenwolf escaped. So, yeah, it's not a reinforcement that ends in an absolute victory, but having said that, our man's appearance did lead to Mera's eventual survival, so we'll take that W with pride. At number 13 is Superman showing up to save Lois with undeniable aura. There are obvious benefits when it comes to trusting in Kal-El, and Lois Lane is the best example of it. Take this situation where she's taken as a hostage, with the soldiers not being able to do anything about it. The only backup who can reverse this situation is Superman, and he shows how easy it is by simply flying into the terrorist. The threat didn't even make anyone panic, not even Lois, which goes to show how these two are couple goals. Following up a stellar save is a super flex from Batman. You can always trust a guy on a Batbike, especially if said bike is modelled after his own persona. Bruce Wayne's return as Batman was hyped AF as he just randomly shows up to back up the cops even when they had no idea he was going to be there. That rookie could have probably shown some respect, but look, that's okay because it doesn't affect the Dark Knight's swag, which simply can't be switched off. It is a thankless job though, because the cops keep chasing him even after he does so much for them. Dwayne Johnson turns up at number 11 as I'm sure you know who. Black Adam isn't looked at favourably, but if you're reinforcing the scene with a punch, you do deserve some appreciation. Honestly, it's this very punch that makes the scene land so high, because Black Adam doesn't solo Sabak here. He actually needs quite a bit of assistance in order to get to his enemy's horns, so even though he lands the finisher move, I can't give The Rock full credit for the victory. Also, his arrival technically begins when he lifts up a massive rock, which I'm sure has to be some kind of meta commentary. It's top 10 time, so Superman is a must. This time, he plays a reinforcement who farms aura as if he's Sung Jin Woo. Our man doesn't even need to do much, as he just stands in front of the goons and lets them waste all of their ammunition on him. Bullets to the chest were never going to be an issue, were they? But the real fun is when a bullet is fired right into his eye, and it does more damage to the actual bullet. You know all those Chuck Norris jokes they crack? Well, let me tell you, Brandon Routh just played them out live for us. At number 9 is Shazam and his fam. Yep, I had to rhyme that one, but apart from that, making your own reinforcements has got to be an epic flex. Dr. Sivana may have been a tough opponent for Shazam if he was all alone, but as Vin Diesel always says, there's nothing like family. This was a cool moment and definitely a bit different from how we normally see superhero movie endings, which is probably why he got so much love. Man, Zachary Levi definitely deserves another chance to play the character, but I'm not sure if James Gunn would be gunning for him after the sequel.
No.
Number 6 is presented to you by Joss Whedon's Justice League. Yeah, it's odd that I'm including this version, but the League shows up and locks in as humanity's final reinforcements against Steppenwolf. The colour grading here is great, and even though they're not able to defeat him without a certain someone, it's still a great act of defiance that proves how important they are as heroes. And yes, I'm obviously going to point out how badass it was to see Steppenwolf's glowing eyes in the sequence. It's undefeated even when compared to the Snyder Cut.
Where is the Codex? You think you can threaten my mother?
Number 7 is pain for Zod and rage for Kal-El. After all, you should never trigger the wrath of a son, especially by threatening his mother. Superman gave him a smashing response with no mercy, and this is a pretty appropriate response when it comes to defending Martha. Yeah, she was in trouble and she definitely needed her son's help, but wow, I was kind of jealous that she got the most powerful reinforcement on Earth to come save her. It's actually the only true moment of Kal-El's domination between these two, because the rest of the time, it was mostly balanced, or, you know, the snap. Yes, it's Nolan time. It's shocking to think that was almost a failed rescue, because Joker played a brilliant move in making the hostages look like opponents. Even so, Batman ultimately did overcome this obstacle, which is what makes it such a cool entry. We got to see a different side to him because he had to technically be the good guys, say the innocent guys, while looking like the bad guy, which should have made him the best guy, I suppose. Who would have thought that peace was achieved after using violence? At number 5 is Wonder Woman doing wonderful things. After all, she's the one woman in no man's land, and she creates a massive impact that's equivalent to a whole army of reinforcements. If we're looking at the DCEU timeline, then this is the first time she shows off her strength in public, and wow, what a platform she chose for the occasion. Deflecting bullets, beating up enemy forces, and striking an amazing pose with that shield of hers, it was a delight all around. Shocking that the studio initially thought of cutting this scene. Big moments have arrived, and at number 4 is Wonder Woman once again. It's an iconic entrance for sure, and yes, I've seen all the memes around Gal Gadot's acting skills. You can't seriously tell me that this moment didn't get you hyped up.
Kal-El, no!
With Superman struggling against Doomsday, and Batman, well, just trying his best to stay alive, reinforcements were needed, and Diana pulled off an amazing rescue act in the process. Imagine stealing the show in a movie called Batman vs Superman. Yes, that's exactly how iconic this is. Number 3 gives us Batfleck at his most brutal best. Martha really has the best scars, doesn't she? There was Superman going against Zod not too long ago, and now we have Batman pulling off one of the best rage mode scenes in recent history. He wasn't in the mood to spare anyone, and it was evident in his treatment of the goons. Sure, it's not Doomsday, but the way the scene is shot is impeccable. During this moment, you can actually feel that Bruce Wayne deserved the title of a superhero.
Drop it. I said drop it! Believe me, I'll do it! I believe you.
Missing out on the top spot is The Flash. Yes, he may not look like the ultimate Chad boy, but he used time as his reinforcement and came out of the finale as the MVP. Seriously, even Superman being there can stop the anti-life equation, so Flash activating the Speed Force was the determining factor of the final battle. It's not what happened in the theatrical cut, but this version is easily the better ending of the two because it felt more like everyone in the league was involved. And yes, number one is quite obviously Superman showing up at the perfect time to farm some insane aura. After all, I largely consider this to be the numero uno reinforcement of all time when it comes to DC films. With the Justice League struggling to land a scratch on Steppenwolf, it was only a matter of time before he got to Cyborg, but luckily he had some heavy plot armor, thus allowing for one of the coldest moments in superhero movies.
No. Impressed.
The Man of Steel is totally unfazed as he openly mocks Steppenwolf's strengths and lets him know that he's not impressed. Breaking his weapon and thrashing him like a side character right after only added to the emotional damage. But yeah, there's no way any other reinforcement was going to top such a pristine flex. Hope you liked the video, please subscribe to the TV Regent, and here's another video that I know you're going to enjoy.